Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Beyond the Track. This one is going to be a good one. I don't even know where I'm going to go with it because I got a lot of questions. So we're going to be all over the place, but it's going to be fun. Make sure you check out all the other shows we do. Go to YouTube, look up Beyond the Track. You can go to supercrosslive.com, obviously. Go to the social channels. You can find us. This one's going to be fun. Brandon Haas joins me on Beyond the Track. Brandon, what's going on, man?
Not much. I'm sitting here at the truck. The boys are outside building bikes, and I appreciate you having me on.
Man, I don't even know how to intro you. Like, what dude, you got so much going on, dude. And I love it. You're all over the place. Obviously with the team, the facility. What's your title? What do we call you right now?
I'm stretched a little thin at the moment, but I mean, primarily ClubMX is my baby. I'm president of ClubMX. I'm the one of the head trainers there. I lead the Supercross group, and then in outdoors, I lead the pro group. But obviously, we have a really good team of guys. It wouldn't allow me to break free and try to run a race team on the side. So I'm pretty blessed with some good guys that work for me that can run the show there, and we've been growing and building. And this is kind of a new adventure, so I'm still adapting and learning, but it's been cool.
Growing and building. That's exactly what you guys have done with the facility over the years. Obviously, I've heard about it for going on a long time now. But the race team, let's start there because that's where we're at this moment. How's it going, man? You guys have been building. It's been getting better. I even talked about it on Race Day Live, how you guys are progressing. You know, an athlete is always trying to get better every year and find a way to just chip away at the top. You guys as a team have been doing the exact same thing. Happy so far in 2021? And again, just kind of take me through that growth of this team and where you guys started and where you're going, because it obviously is trajectory. It's heading up, dude. You guys are doing a great job.
Yeah, I feel like we're getting better every year. I mean, the results is from the outside what people see, but the process within the dynamics of the team is what I think we're really actually starting to figure out now. Just with managing people, keeping the energy good, the athletes, we have the whole other side of it that's training, and how do you bring that to race day? So I think for us, it's a little bit what we do different, because we're hands-on during the week, and then we're hands-on the weekend, where most of these riders kind of have a facility or trainers or wherever they're basing during the week, and then they come in on the weekend and kind of have a different crew they're working with. So that's a really unique dynamic that we have. I know a couple other teams are starting to capitalize on getting their own facilities and trying to keep everything under one umbrella. And we had that with Club, but from the start, it was we started a KTM effort 4 years ago with Josh Osby and Joey Crown. Started off okay, and Josh ended up getting a couple sixth places and had a good little run. And that was like a little taste of success. That was like, all right, I think we could build on this. So the next year we actually merged with Traders Racing at that time. And for us, that was like, hey man, we don't really have a clue what we're doing. These guys just got a podium with Rensland. They had a crew, Skip Norfolk, and a team manager and a mechanic that was paid for at that time. We didn't have a staff. We're just, and honestly, even today, fast forwarding 4 years, this was the first year we've ever hired a mechanic full time with Greg Jicky, our crew chief. So, we are still the little team that could, we're just filling the gaps. I get up in the morning and do team stuff, then I go do my job, and then at night try to catch up. And on race weekends, we got mechanics that sub in. I do a great job, but we're not the big team by any means. We are a very, very small operation and budget, but we focus on what we can do well at, and that's during the week, the training, the bikes, the equipment, trying to eliminate excuses for the guys and giving them what they need. We don't have all the cream on the top, but I think we got the core ingredients figured out. So every year we've been improving. Our budget's growing. We're getting more sponsorship funding, and we're trying to figure out how to activate through. I think a lot of our good sponsors are kind of catching on to the fact that we do have an elite facility that is behind the team. So our activation with customers, we're hands-on in that process. So there's companies we can really actually make a difference in, rather than just fly the flag and get impressed. We can actually be, direct activation through our customers at ClubMX. So we have a unique approach in a lot of different ways, and I think we're starting to figure out how to grow it.
That is interesting. normally you'll see a team that races, and then they're seeking ways to have their riders be coached and trained by going to facilities, like you said, or riding together. You guys are the exact opposite. You're a training and a coaching facility as a program that is now going racing. It's like the other way around. And do you think that that gives you guys a benefit? Because like you said, you're a small team. You're obviously under budgeted compared to the factory teams, but you guys are putting up some pretty good results. Do you feel it's because at the core, you guys understand the process of getting your riders better, so that when you do show up on race day, like they're good to go because you got that other side covered maybe better than most?
Yeah, I think so. One of our core values is, and I preach it to the guys all the time, there's no better training than racing. We're going racing as, every day in every way, we're getting better and better. And that's our motto. So instead of approaching it like, oh, we got to get ready and we got to perform, we got to get this, it's like, no, we're just going to go do our thing and we're going to do the best we can. And regardless of it, we get to go back on Monday and we get to work on our flaws with the same group of people, the same riders, the same coaching staff. It's like not all the staff obviously from club can come. I wish they could, but they still got to steer the ship there. But that for sure is our bread and butter. We might lack on the bike side of it. We lack on the inventory and its overall budget, but we are able to capitalize on the riders' performance, and I think that is one of our biggest advantages.
Okay, explain this one to me then. And every factory team is different. Every manufacturer does it their own way, but you guys, Smart Top, Bullfrog Spas team, your private teams, it's more private funding. You don't have those resources. You don't have the support, yet you guys have huge rosters. Then you have some factory teams that might have one guy or two guys, and they have all the resources in the world. So why do you and them put together a team with these resources that are tight and put together a 3 or 4 rider team like that? I mean, first off, how do you pull it off? And second off, what is your thinking behind that, bringing out that many riders? I have to imagine that makes things a lot tougher.
It does. I mean, the sponsors, a few sponsors do want numbers, like FXR, for example. They do take pride in, say, having three guys in the main event versus one. But now that we are kind of climbing that ladder and we got a guy that can podium and win races, it does kind of steer it to the other direction. But then you got to go back. For me, and I can't relate to Moto Concepts or the other teams that do it, but for me, I have all these really good dudes working their butts off that are loyal to me at ClubMX, and when they need an opportunity, regardless of maybe what they're capable of, I have a hard time saying no sometimes. And it's like, man, if you're working hard, I had people help me, and I wasn't that guy, and I feel like I got to give back. We all kind of grow up in this same industry, just like bicycling. You get a flat tire, a guy gives you the tube, you pass on your tube to the next guy, and I feel like that's my role, man. I had people help me that they really didn't need to. I wasn't deserving of it, but they did. So, we got a kid, Nate Augustine. He's been training with us for 4 years. He started as a C-class rider. Not many people know about him, but he's ready to go race in Supercross, and his goal is just to make night shows. It's like, got resources. I got a little bit extra stuff. Even if I got to privately help, to support it, I get overextended in that way, but it's not really pulling away from, the main guys. But I don't know, for us, outdoors, we're going to slim down. We can't do a 4-rider roster. I mean, Supercross is relatively easy on the budget, especially with the schedule we have this year. We're sitting here banging out 3 races in a week. Like that helps us big time. That's a lot of resources that frees us up. For outdoors, we got a pretty gnarly schedule for an East Coast team. It's hard on bikes. It's hard on equipment. Yeah, I can't do 4 riders. No way. But Supercross, man, if I can help, I'm going to help.
I mean, I'm a big fan of that because, again, I was a privateer 98% of my entire career, and it's hard to go racing. And when you have someone that's willing to help, for me, I know this sounds crazy. It was a different world than you, but the Wonder Warthog guys that were throwing out, entry fee money. And to me, it was like, oh my God, every little bit counts. So I have to imagine that, again, you got a soft spot for these kids that are working hard. They want to accomplish their dream. They're sitting there at your facility and you're watching them get better. And you're like, God, I got to give this guy a chance. And like you said, maybe his goals aren't the same as Garrett Marchbanks, who wants to win a race for you. His goal is to get in the night program. And you're like, I can help make that happen. And it's, I can imagine it being hard on you because again, you got to juggle the resources part of this thing, but at the same time, you're seeing too many of these kids that just want a shot and you kind of know you could help. So at the end of the day, you, like you said, for outdoors, you got to do what you got to do because I mean, you just can't afford it. The stuff gets beat up, but I like what you're doing, man. I think it's admirable. And I think it's huge for these private teams to do that. But then with you guys, it's not just the helping side, you are getting the results too. So let's pivot back to that. You guys are getting better. Last year was awesome. I thought Lopes did great. You guys were getting on the map more and more. Now you got Marchbanks, you got the podium. I mean, on that side too, you guys are, you're going up. How do you do that? How do you do that as a private team when you got all these resources that you got to juggle around, but you're still putting it towards a guy who ends up on the box?
Yeah. I mean, Garrett was, Garrett really, never was supposed to be here. Like I couldn't believe that the team, it's kind of beating it around. The story's been done and over with, but, I really couldn't believe people passed him up. Rookie of the year, got a podium last year, one Daytona. I mean, arguably one of the best amateurs racers of all times. Like he's got, I don't know how many amateur titles, but he's a dominating guy. Like I just couldn't believe that these guys overlooked him so fast. And for me, it was like, trained at club for 3 years from 85 super mini, then he transitioned to big bikes. It's like, all right, they paid me for my services, and now here we are 5-6 years later and the circle has reconnected and here we are talking. I'm like, it was just kind of in my stomach, like I need to figure this out. I didn't have anywhere close to the budget, honestly. We never paid somebody,
So
but
you had to make it happen and figure it out after.
Yeah, so it was just like, all right, I think I could call some sponsors. And, we had kind of established ourselves last year as, all right, we're here to play. I'm going to ride this out. We're growing, baby steps every year. But as long as we're moving forward, I'm engaged. And Garrett was a unique opportunity, not only for me to give back to him, but also to help the team grow, and that's always what I tell these guys. Like, for sure, I want them to go win races and do the best you can, but I'm never going to hold them back either. If there comes opportunity where their career can prosper and the team can't keep up, that's fine. I'm in this for the rider. I'm not in this for a personal agenda. I'm not making money. I'm working for free. So it's like, my job is, if Garrett Marchbanks is podium and win races, I need the team to grow with him so that we can continue to grow, get another like rider that's capable of that. And if not, I drop the ball. That's okay. But they can move on. For right now, I think, for him, come test the bike, make sure it was good. He liked it. He really liked the Yamaha. I knew we had learned a lot the year before. We knew how to make the engine better. Garrett's a 186-pound kid. So for me, I was like, you better come test the bike before we make a deal, because I just don't want to deal with that all year. And personally, I don't want to be a reason for him to maybe fall behind or have a bad year. You know how it is, the sport. You can get overlooked really fast. So I knew it was an important year for him. But I don't know, I felt like we were in a position the bike would be good enough. We made more investments into it. I think we shaved 9 pounds out of it this year. That was a big step for us. Jamie at Twisted Development, he found us more power. We got good rotation of engines. We got some support from Yamaha. FXR stepped up huge. Pirelli stepped up. Everybody was just all about Garrett, leading the charge for us. And honestly, I don't know. I've been doing this for a while, and I've had a lot of guys come through club, and maybe 10 guys I can really remember that have done everything start to finish training wise, accountability, like the Zach Osbornes, the Alex Martins, the Nicolettis, McAdoo is one of them. I mean, the list goes on. Marchbanks is one of them. He works his butt off, and hard work motivates me. So I'm okay getting up early. I'm okay making calls and trying to round up what I can. As long as he's pulling his weight, I'll pull mine.
Let's focus on something that I would imagine is a hard part of your job, and that's dealing with a rider and an injury. I'm a big fan of Joey Crown. Last year I thought he was breaking out. This year he comes in, looks just as fat. I mean, I'm thinking, here we go. He's going to get another shot to break out again, and he gets hurt again. Like, how do you deal with that on the personal side? Obviously, from a racing side, it's like, okay, we lost a guy. What do we got to do? Okay, we'll move some parts. You handle what you have to do on the racing side. But how does it affect you? Because it sounds to me like it's pretty personal to you. All these relationships are very personal. I heard what you said about, in the past about even Jace Owen and Dominic Thury. You are attached to your riders on a personal level. So how do you juggle that as a team manager, team owner, and be able to break away from the job and just be there as like a friend or a mentor to someone like Joey, who now has 2 years in a row with an injury? How do you handle that on the personal side?
I mean, honestly, it's a never-ending fight. Like internally, that's not something I can say I've figured out, but I do know over the years I've gotten better with it. The first couple of years we went racing, I did get stressed out. I got overwhelmed, and the personal side did become detached. In Joey's situation, it was like, he hit the deck in Daytona. I don't know what normal team managers or owners would think, but for me, it's like I'm concerned about Joey. The team and the sponsors, it's irrelevant at that point. Like, yeah, we have a duty. We have to put so many riders on the track for certain obligations and whatnot. But like the first thing that we talked about with Joey, we sat in the truck that night with his mom and dad, and it was like, man, this is real. Like, this is another whack to the head. You need to go back, see the specialist. He's very lucky that he has a doctor that helped him with the past one, and did a really good job. He struggled the last time he hit his head. He was like 2 months of discoordination, lightheaded, headaches. He thought he would get better. He'd go ride. It would all come right back. The third month went on. He's still suffering from it, and went to this rehab place, and they did a remarkable job. So the fortunate thing for him is he's already got the protocols of the rehabilitation program. So at that point, it's like, Joey, you go get to work. You wait till them doctors tell you you are 100%, and you need to have a serious conversation with these doctors about your future and your health, because that is a priority. If you're not comfortable returning, it's okay. I have no obligation for you to return. If I do, I'll break them, because your health is more important. So for Joey, it's like, he's out, his bike's ready. We're going to have it ready. And when he can come back, start training at club, we'll get back, we'll ease into it. Right now, he does hope to be back for the Atlanta rounds, but like I said, time will tell, and some of that is just
it's all good.
But some of that is just see how it goes. I mean, as the head injuries are like, some are serious, some don't seem to cause a problem, some are detrimental. So he's gonna see a specialist. That's beyond me, but for sure his health is the priority. I'm gutted for him, because it's like training and racing. It's like he's so close to breaking through, and he just gets that taste of it, and then it's like, bam, another bump in the road. And Joey's had his hurdles, so tough.
It's got to feel good for him though, knowing that he's got you in his corner, and knowing that again, you care about him as a person and not just as a number on a bike. Which obviously I don't think any team manager's that way. That's what I'm implying. That's not fair. But again, for you being a private team, I feel like there's more to it than just obligations and all that. Like, there's a personal side, especially the fact, again, going back to the fact that you have a facility where these riders, like, they live there. They're there every day. So it's not like you hope he's doing good during the week. I mean, you're with him every day, so you really get to know him on a personal level. So I have to imagine for him, it feels good knowing he's got you having his back. Let's pivot over to the facility side, which obviously predates the team. Kind of walk me through the story for the fans that don't understand. I know there was a relationship with the Osbornes in the beginning that ended up changing a lot, but take us through the beginning stages of ClubMX.
So yeah, ClubMX actually, the original ClubMX started in Minnesota. I tried 3 different times, and I was young. I didn't have a clue what I was doing, but as soon as we start making noise, I'd get shut down, and I went and bought a place, and it started with like Henry Miller, Jesse Wentland, Zach Williams. I was still racing, and we do like summer camps at my house and whatever. And I was just renting tracks, and spent the winter in South Carolina. I ended up running into Zach. I raced at a track kind of by where he was still racing the GPs at that time. So he had a stand track in Chesterfield, South Carolina, that he'd come down from Virginia during his off time and do his training. So I ended up, hearing about it. I got a hold of him. He let us come ride with him a little bit, and I just planted the seed, like, hey, someday I want to have a facility in the South. And, I was pretty naive still, honestly, to the whole thing. Like, I was just a Minnesota kid. Like, I vaguely even knew what Loretta Lynn's was. And I just wanted to be that local, District 23 champion. And as I got older, I started learning more about the sport. And that's when, I kind of started having this image in my head of, what a training facility should look like. Mentioned it to Zach that someday I want to have a place down south so I don't have to spend the winters traveling. And he had made a comment back that, man, I almost lost it. I was overweight. My nutrition was bad. My fitness was bad. Like, I would like to help you do this if you're serious about it. But all I care is this has to be serious, regimented, disciplined training, because I don't want guys to almost miss an opportunity the way I did because they weren't working smart and hard. And so for us, the first thing was we went and hired a nutritionist. We focused on strength training side. We built, the best tracks we could build. Moving forward, Zach ended up signing his Geico deal to return to American racing. And when that happened, for him, it was like, all right, I want to be 100% focused on racing. So I ended up buying his shares back from him. And then he ended up training with us for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years beyond that. And then that's what led him, where I think he went to Tomax next. But anyway, over the years, we just kept building, and now it started as a 40-acre facility. Now we have a little over 200 acres. We got a bunch of shops. I think there's 4 motocross tracks. We have a pier sand track. We have a loam track. We have a hard pack clay track. We got 4 supercross tracks, all different soils. We have corner tracks, our starting stuff. I mean, every year it's an evolution. And, honestly, with the race team, it's kind of like, a lot of focus goes to the race team, but also learning the racing end of it more. And at this level has also helped change my perception of what the direction of the facility needs to go now to now be more elite, more premier, more, just dialing everything in, more video review, more film study, more mental skills coaching, and just the whole thing. So we have a really good team. We got a couple riding trainers, we got fitness trainers, we have a full-time chef, we have a clubhouse. So we do breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We do juicy smoothies. Dr. Tim, our psychologist, he meets with our guys as needed. It's a full circle program. It used to be a small group. It's a little bit bigger now, but it's still training group, 6-7 guys. Our Supercross group is, beyond just the team. Justin Brayton and, Kate Clayton's been doing really good in the 450 class this year. And it's been cool having him back. The Phoenix Racing guys, Cal Peters, Josh Osby. I mean, Enzo Lopes, he's not on the team this year, but he's still training with us. So that's cool. But yeah, it's been a constant evolution, and it's a lot of work, but I'm pretty blessed to have such a good group of guys working that can, carry that weight while I'm gone. It's been pretty humbling, honestly. Just even now being in Texas for a whole week, it's like, just humbling knowing that I can trust those guys to do the job how it's supposed to be. And it's taken a long time to get there. This has been 10 years now of the facility. So it's been a pretty cool adventure.
That's a big 10 years, man. Like, I mean, again, I follow it. I've never been there, but I follow you guys on Instagram. So I'm always watching the track prep, and you guys got some good dirt out there too. But just to see it grow, like you said, and turn it into this, I guess, started out as a facility, but a small facility. And now it's like a mecca of like track over there, water. I mean, you got good people in place, like you said, but does it still get kind of hard to manage that because there's just a lot going on, and it's not some tiny little thing under your nose now. It's all over the place. The team's here.
Yeah.
How do you juggle that? Again, I know it comes down to good people in place and you can trust, but you still got to oversee all this stuff. Like, how do you do that when you're trying to run a race team, fight for podiums, and you got this facility that's obviously going off?
I mean, honestly, I think anybody that knows me would attest that I work 7 days a week, and I have probably for the last 10 years. I mean, 4:30 to 6:30 is my team stuff. I get up early. I do all my emails, parts, and anything the guys need. I do our travel, and then 6:30, 7, I head over to club. fortunately I live there, so I'm just right across the road. Ben, my general manager, he also lives there. The whole staff lives on site. We got houses, cabins all around the property. Um, it is probably 7 to 4 or 5 is facility stuff, and I help Miguel catch up with tracks as needed, and I still partake in a lot of the operations. And then honestly, at night, if I got to be up till 9 doing emails or calls, like, it is what it is. Um, but I'm slowly learning how to delegate more of the team stuff now that it has become a lot more. Like it's a never ending, adapting and trying to stay up. Like even with COVID, it was, we used to be a lot of full-time guys. We used to have a ton of Canada guys and Europeans, and I'd say 30% of our revenue was from out of the country. And all of a sudden now they can't travel, they can't get here. This year we only have a couple. Dylan Wright, he's here this year, really cool. Piccolo, and we got some fast Canada kids. But normally we have a bigger crowd, but they're having issues crossing the border. So to make up for it, we started doing more weekend camps that we really haven't done in the past. More private one-on-one training, working with some dealerships, doing some private afternoon stuff, getting new riders into the sport, some kids on 50s and 65s. Like, we've never gone that direction. But again, it's nice because I got the people that are willing to adapt to help. But it's honestly just delegating. Like you said, you follow it, but most people follow us and they come there for the first time are pretty blown away at what it really is in real life. Like to get that dirt, I mean, just an example of how serious we take our tracks is we have 3 different clay pits around the property. We got off-road haul trucks, excavators, and we constantly mix match in soils. We can get clay, we can get sand. We're pretty fortunate, but that was always like our principle was a swimmer don't swim in a kiddie pool. A swimmer swims in an Olympic pool. Like our tracks need to be national level motocross tracks. They need to be rough. They need to be, deep and watered. And same with Supercross. We got to have red clay. We got to have the California type dirt. We got to have a track that can handle rain. So it's like everything has to be accounted for. But for us, the riding has been priority one, and our tracks, I think, are a testament to that.
I for me, I'm a West Coast guy. We don't really have facilities like that as much. There's so many public tracks. It's not really like the thing, but I always remembered, MTF, GPF, I've ridden there before. These all popped up. You guys are here now. There's other ones in the area. Did you draw any of your, I guess, methods from what you had seen other places do, or did you start from scratch with your own vision? I have to imagine it maybe a combination of both, but you guys aren't the oldest facility. But at the same time, it sounds like you kind of had a little bit of a vision yourself while you were starting this in Minnesota. So when you went to create this place and you're continuing to grow this place, did you draw other influences from other places that existed that you'd seen? Or did you just say, I'm going to start with my own vision and just let it go from there?
I mean, to be honest with you, I had spent very little time outside of Minnesota at that point. Like I was pouring concrete out of high school, and after a year of doing that, I was like, I think one day I was looking down the line and a bunch of guys we're pouring Lowe's. So, I mean, big floors, Home Depot floors. And I looked down the line and there's like guys, scrubbing, edging concrete. And I was a finisher too. And I remember it just kind of like, it just hit me like, I don't want to do this. Like, I would rather be broke and be around moto. I love moto. What do I got to do? And at that point, the next year, I actually started going on my own first time. It was moto daycare. I went around picking kids up in the morning when school was out. I had a cargo van with like a landscape trailer, and it started off 3-4 kids. I'd get them on Tuesday morning. We'd go riding for the day. I would ride with them. I'd take them home Tuesday night, do it on Wednesday, do it on Thursday. And it was awesome until school went back in. And then I was like, oh man, what am I going to do? Then I had this master plan that I'm going to be a fitness trainer in a local gym in the winter times, and then I'm going to do my camps in the summer. But then that next winter is when I met Zach. So then that's when that all started. So I never knew what MTF was or GPF. I think this was 2010 when I started club. So I think they were probably maybe the only 2 at that time. Recently there's a lot of facilities coming around, but like, Stuart had his place, but I was pretty naive, to be honest with you. It was just like, I heard what Zach tell me, and I'm looking at Zach like, he's the highest caliber guy I've ever had a conversation in motocross with. So I just painted an image in my head, like, all right, we need to do nutrition serious, we need to do fitness serious, and our tracks need to be really, really good. And so honestly, it was just a vision. Like, I got down to South Carolina. Zach's dad also helped Mark, and he was an excavator by trade. So he had a dozer sitting there for me. And the day I got there, I got in a dozer for the first time. Like, oh crap, what am I gonna do? Like, man, I'm sure glad I'm out in the middle of nowhere and nobody's watching. But I just started clearing trees, pushing dirt. After a week, I got the hang of it. I'm doing good. I'm figuring it out. And then from there on, it was just piece by piece, brick by brick. And even to this day, like, yeah, there's influences all over, but it does always come back to your vision, and that's what makes any business successful, is somebody with a vision. And for me, I was just dreaming. I was just a kid playing in the dirt, like 22 years old. Man, what do I got to lose? Only thing I got to lose is if I don't work hard enough, and I'm not gonna have that. I did that in moto. Like, I didn't work hard enough. I didn't do what I was supposed to. I got a really good opportunity. I need to make the best of it. So it's just like a kid dreaming, like, go push piles, go build buildings. Let's put a campground in. I don't have a perfect plan. I don't know it all, but I'm not afraid to get started. So let's go. I mean, the race team was the same way. Like, I had no idea what I was doing, but go, we'll figure it out.
Well, I mean, you're speaking my language. Same thing as a racer, felt like I got pretty far, but felt like I could have got a lot further if I would have been more committed. And maybe it's because I was young, and maybe, I don't know, but I felt like for me with a TV career, it was my chance to it was like a do-over. I don't know about you, but like, regret stings hard, man. Like, it's like the worst feeling in the world. So I've approached this the same way kind of you're doing with your team and facility, like all in, like why not? Like, I know what it feels like to come up just short because you didn't give enough. So I have to imagine again with you, that fuels you. That's what makes those 7-day a week work weeks not really that big of a deal. Because I don't know. I feel like as bad as those can be, regret is worse, a lot worse,
For sure. And it's like, and that's why I brought up that example of pouring concrete, because it's like, I was racing, now I'm pouring concrete. I'm like, all right, lesson learned. But because of that experiences in life, it took me, honestly, I started club in 2010. I would say it took me till 2015 or 16 to actually call it my job. I wake up in the morning and I never tell my wife I'm going to work or I got to work today. It's no, I'm going over to club. Like, it was actually physically hard for me to say work. I couldn't say it because I'm just like, man, I'm living my dream. Like, how can I refer to this as work? Now time's gone on and the stresses have built and there's more obligations and duties. So yeah, it's a job, but I'm not taking it for granted. And same thing with you. Like, now your perspective has changed. You can look at these young racers and you can see things in them that you would have never seen if you went to experience what you did and learn the lesson. I don't want these guys to go through it. Now, some guys, I think that's probably the difference from men and women, right? It's like the men, you have to learn on your own sometimes, where women seems like they can learn it and adapt, where some of these guys, like, man, I hate to tell you I told you so, because if I have to tell you I told you so, it's too late. The window of opportunity is gone in this sport. So sometimes you can't help everybody, but the guys you can help, that's all that matters.
That's awesome. And obviously you're doing just that. Last question for you before we go. Goals. What is the goal with the facility? What is the goal with the team? Obviously both are doing well, but getting to know your personality a little bit more, I have to imagine that you're unsatisfied. You want more. You're just too driven for it. So 5, 10, 20 years from now, where's the team? Where's the facility? Where can you take this thing?
I think the facility is, we want to be more elite. We want to be the Harvard of, universities. We have the foundation established. We're still a long ways from where we all want to be. But we want to be the Mecca of motocross. Like, we have 100 acres now across the road that we're opening for a public side. Like, we want to have a public destination, but we want to keep the other side secluded and keep building it to more and more elite riders. Amateur to pro, we don't cater just to pro guys. We're I think a little bit known for that, but it's not like, I've had opportunities to see, a lot of the programs the top guys are doing now. I have a good grasp for everything. I think I know how to do better, and I think we have an advantage with the race team. We want to be a championship team. I think pro circuit has established a really good model with a team that can, generate on the backside. They can build bikes, they can sell products. Like for us, long term, that is the goal. We want to have a race team that guys can come to club if they can put their work in. Sure, we want to see them go to other teams. We want to help guys ride for other teams. We don't want to seclude ourselves off, but we do want to give guys a chance. But with time, we do want to build a retail shop, a service center, and be able to, actually create revenue through the race team. Have build and sell race bikes, maintenance. We have a lot of guys at club that need maintenance on their bikes. We have a lot of Loretta's guys that need help. Some of these guys don't really know much about chassis development or suspension tuning or engine. So for us to provide assistance, whether they're using us or not, it's still good for a ClubMX member. So we do want to grow our wings out in that direction. But regardless, we want to be a championship level team. I think with Marchbanks, we're closer to that step. If we can keep dialing in our process and keep helping sponsors activate new customers, I feel like our budgets are only going to grow every year. And maybe there's some teams out there, budgets are going down. Maybe there's teams that budgets are kind of leveling off. I mean, we've had a 30-40% growth rate every year. This year was almost 100% jump. So I think, honestly, the sky's the limit. Like everybody has big hopes and aspirations, but I have 4 years to verify that we're going in the right direction. So if I can stay true to our principles and our morals and we stay focused on the riders, I think we can be a championship level team and it can happen really soon.
Well, Brandon, thanks for joining me on Beyond the Track, man. I see it. I see what you're doing. It is working. The results are there too to back up and prove it. So congratulations on all your success. I'm excited to see what you guys do over the next few years because I can see where it's going. And you guys, I know you're working hard and the results are on paper. So again, congratulations and thanks for joining me on Beyond the Track. And I look forward to seeing how you at least close out 2021. And I have a feeling it'll probably end up pretty good. Thanks, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.